One day she's warm, the next day she's distant. And the silence between those two versions of her is where most men lose themselves. Listen carefully. When a woman pulls away, your instinct is to chase, to text more, to explain yourself better, to prove your worth. But here's the truth most people never tell you. Attraction does not grow under pressure. It grows in space. When she feels you tightening your grip, even subtly, something shifts inside her. Not because she's cruel, not because she enjoys power, but because attraction is emotional oxygen. And when you flood her with need, you remove the mystery, the polarity, the emotional tension that once made her lean in. Women are deeply emotional processors. They don't just respond to what you say, they respond to how they feel in your presence. If she feels pursued by a man who is centered, grounded, and slightly unpredictable, she leans forward. If she feels pursued by a man who is anxious, seeking reassurance, and afraid to lose her, she leans back. That's not manipulation, that's psychology. The moment she senses that she is your only source of validation, the dynamic changes. She no longer experiences you as a strong option. She experiences you as emotional weight, and attraction cannot breathe under emotional weight. Now here's what most men get wrong. They believe if they just love harder, show more consistency, be extra kind, she will realize their value. But consistency without self-respect becomes predictability, and predictability without challenge becomes boredom. A woman reappears when she feels the loss, not when you tell her she lost you, when she feels it. There is a powerful psychological trigger that activates when she notices your energy shift. When the man who was once available, responsive, and emotionally invested becomes calm, focused, and slightly unreachable. Not cold, not rude, just centered. That shift creates curiosity. Curiosity creates emotional movement, and emotional movement is the seed of her return. Understand this deeply. She does not come back because you beg. She does not come back because you convince her logically. She comes back because her emotions start whispering questions. Why isn't he reacting? Why does he seem stronger? Did I misjudge him? Women are drawn toward emotional strength, toward a man whose life does not collapse when she steps back. When she senses that your world continues, that your value remains intact, that your happiness is not hostage to her attention, something changes inside her. She begins to re-evaluate. The moment you stop trying to control the outcome is the moment you regain power over it. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most men never experience her begging to return because they never give her the emotional distance required to feel your absence. Absence is painful, but absence is powerful. If you learn how to master your reactions instead of chasing her approval, you don't just increase your chances of her coming back, you transform the entire dynamic. Because the real guarantee is not that she returns. The real guarantee is that when you become emotionally unshakable, someone always does. When she starts to pull away, your mind begins to race. You replay conversations, you analyze her tone, you look for the exact moment things shifted, and without realizing it, you step into a mental trap, the trap of overinvestment. Here's what you were never taught. Attraction thrives in uncertainty, but insecurity destroys it. When a woman senses that you are monitoring her emotional temperature every hour, she feels observed rather than desired. There is a massive psychological difference. Desire feels light, observation feels heavy, and heaviness makes her retreat further. Most men think women leave because of something specific that was said or done. Sometimes that's true, but more often attraction fades because emotional polarity fades. The dynamic becomes predictable. The tension disappears. She knows exactly how you feel, exactly how available you are, exactly how much she means to you. And there is no emotional mystery left to explore. Mystery is not about playing games. It's about maintaining your own depth. A woman is magnetized by a man who has a mission, standards, and emotional discipline. Not because she wants to compete with his purpose, but because purpose signals stability, and stability creates safety. Ironically, the less you revolve your world around her, the safer she feels with you. Think about this carefully. When you instantly respond to every message, rearrange your schedule for every plan, and tolerate small signs of disrespect just to avoid conflict, what are you communicating? You are saying, without words, I am afraid to lose you. And fear is not attractive. Confidence is quiet. It does not demand reassurance. It does not panic when attention dips. It observes, it adjusts, it stays composed. The moment she senses you are not emotionally reactive, something shifts inside her. She starts to question her assumptions. Why isn't he chasing? Why does he seem unaffected? That curiosity is powerful. It triggers emotional contrast. And emotional contrast makes her feel, women don't come back because you argue your value. They come back because they start to feel your absence in subtle, emotional ways. Maybe she scrolls through her phone and notices you haven't reached out. Maybe she sees you investing energy into your goals. Maybe mutual friends mention that you seem focused and calm. That calmness unsettles her expectations. You see, when you react strongly, she feels in control of the dynamic. But when you respond with grounded detachment, she feels uncertainty. And uncertainty reignites attention. This is not about being cold or manipulative. It's about reclaiming your center. When you stop seeking reassurance from her and start building reassurance within yourself, your energy changes, your posture changes, your tone changes, even your silence changes. And women are extremely sensitive to energy shifts. The truth is simple but uncomfortable. The more you chase, the further she drifts. The more you stabilize, the more she reflects. If she senses that losing you means losing a man who is composed, purposeful, and emotionally self-sufficient, she begins to reconsider her distance. Because now, the loss feels real. And people fight hardest for what feels scarce. You don't create scarcity by disappearing dramatically. You create it by becoming irreplaceable, not through attention, but through value. When she feels that shift, when she senses that your life does not pause in her absence, the psychological door opens. And that's when the possibility of her return becomes very real. There is a moment, quiet, invisible, almost unnoticeable, when she starts comparing, not comparing you to another man, comparing how she felt with you to how she feels without you. That comparison is where everything changes. Most men sabotage this moment because they cannot tolerate silence. They interrupt the emotional process by reaching out too soon, checking in, sending long messages, trying to fix what isn't broken. But attraction is not repaired through explanation. It is revived through emotional contrast. When you were always there, always available, always reassuring her, she never had the opportunity to feel your absence. Your presence became normal, predictable, expected, and human psychology does something dangerous with what feels guaranteed. It undervalues it. The power shift happens when you step back without bitterness, without passive aggression, without dramatic announcements. You simply redirect your focus to your growth, your body, your finances, your mission, your friendships. You become less emotionally available, not to punish her, but to protect your own stability. That shift forces her into a new emotional position. Now she must sit with uncertainty. Now she must wonder. Now she must feel. Women are highly attuned to emotional movement. When they sense a man emotionally detaching in a healthy, grounded way, it triggers a subtle urgency. Not panic, urgency. Because now the dynamic is no longer secure. The certainty she had, that you would always be there, it begins to fade. And certainty fading creates desire. Understand this deeply. She does not beg because you demanded it. She begs because she realizes access to you is no longer guaranteed. There is a psychological principle at play here. Value increases when accessibility decreases, not in a manipulative way, in a natural way. Think about how you value time more when it becomes limited. Attention works the same way. Energy works the same way. If she feels she can leave and return anytime without consequence, she never experiences true loss. But when she senses that your energy has boundaries, that your time has standards, that your heart is not a revolving door, something awakens inside her. Respect. And respect is the foundation of lasting attraction. Many men confuse love with availability, but high-value love has structure. It has discipline. It has self-control. When you respond instead of react, when you choose silence instead of emotional chaos, when you invest in your own evolution instead of chasing reassurance, you send a message far louder than words. You say, I value myself. And when a woman believes you value yourself, she begins to value you differently. This is the stage where she starts reaching out. Maybe casually at first, maybe with a light message, maybe testing the waters. She wants to see if the old dynamic still exists. If you immediately fall back into old patterns, the mystery dies. But if you remain composed, warm, yet centered, she feels the shift again. That emotional tension builds. And when tension builds long enough, desire follows. She doesn't beg because you controlled her. She begs because she feels she might lose something rare. A man who doesn't collapse under pressure. Scarcity creates reflection. Reflection creates longing. Longing creates action. And that action is her return. Here is the part no one wants to admit. The moment you truly stop needing her is the moment she feels you slipping away. And that feeling shakes her more than any argument ever could. When you detach with maturity, when you stop performing for her approval, when you stop checking your phone every 5 minutes, your nervous system calms down. You sleep better, you think clearer, you start investing in your body, your finances, your social circle, your goals. And without trying to, you become magnetic again. Because confidence is not loud, it's stable. Women are deeply responsive to emotional stability. Not the kind that pretends not to care, the kind that genuinely doesn't crumble. When she senses that you are okay without her, it forces her to confront something uncomfortable. You were a choice, not a dependency. And people fight harder for choices than for guarantees. If she once felt safe knowing you would always be there no matter how she behaved, that safety slowly turned into complacency. But when she sees that your standards have quietly risen, that your energy is no longer automatically available, that your time must now be earned, her perception shifts. She begins to see you as valuable again, and value triggers pursuit. But here is the deeper psychological layer most men never understand. She doesn't come back just because you ignored her. She comes back because she feels the emotional difference between the old you and the evolved you. The old you sought validation. The new you radiates self-respect. The old you reacted emotionally. The new you responds strategically. The old you feared losing her. The new you understands that you cannot lose what is aligned. When she reaches out again, and if you've truly leveled up, she often will, the dynamic must be different. This is where many men fail. They get excited. They overinvest immediately. They give away all the emotional power they rebuild. Stay grounded. Be warm, but not overeager. Be open, but not desperate. Be interested, but not available on demand. Let her feel that earning you back requires consistency, effort, and respect. Not through ultimatums, through standards. When a woman senses she must invest to keep you, her attachment deepens. When she feels she could lose you again if she falls back into old patterns, she becomes more intentional. And sometimes, yes, she may express regret. She may say she misses you. She may admit she made a mistake. That moment only happens when she truly believes the door is no longer wide open. But here is the ultimate truth I want you to understand. The guarantee is not that she will reappear and beg. The guarantee is that when you become emotionally disciplined, self-respecting, and purpose-driven, you win either way. Either she returns with greater respect, or someone better aligned steps into your life, because high-value energy attracts. So let me ask you something personal. If she came back today, would she meet the same version of you she walked away from, or someone she now has to rise to be with? Comment your answer below. I want to see who is truly ready to level up. If this message shifted your perspective, like the video, subscribe for more psychological truths, and share this with a friend who needs to hear it before they chase the wrong energy again.